Morning everybody. Little quick note about the budget. I didn't seem too perturbed by it in my last little short about it. I thought it was bad, but I didn't think it was anywhere near as bad as it could have been, because I was concentrating more on stuff that would affect me, like field duty and tax and things like that. But in the cold light of day, and looking at what the markets are doing at the moment, the gilts are going up, the gilt bonds are going up, and the pound is falling, which is not good. The gilt one is the worst one. That means they've got no confidence in us borrowing money and paying it back. This all stems from this national insurance hike for employers. I'm not an employer, so I didn't really understand exactly what this meant. But since I've seen a few of the figures and the stats and the way it's going to work, basically if you employ more than 5 people, you're basically going to really struggle over this. Well, this is going to be an indirect tax to all of us, because what will happen now is, because the employer's got to pay a lot more money, a lot more. One guy rang up and said he'd got a building firm, and with the number of employees he's got, it's going to cost him an extra 100 grand a year, and that means their pay rises this year are down the window, and he'll possibly have to hold back on hiring new staff, which is going to affect the number of people unemployed and claiming benefits. It's going to affect these workers, because they're going to get a cut in wages in real time, because inflation will still keep going, and if you're not getting a pay rise, then you'll go backwards. One financial service or whatever, like ombudsman or whatever, said that the normal working man, in inverted commas, and Labour don't even know what we are, is probably going to be about £400 a year worse off because of this, because it's indirect, you see. Oh dear, I didn't think he was going to wait long before he overtook us. Yeah, and yeah, so generally speaking, this is pretty bad actually. I think what will happen now is, I think there's going to be a freeze on jobs coming up. I think indeed, which around here at the moment is heaving with jobs. I think in the next coming months, I think these job numbers, vacancies, are going to decrease. I think we're going to see people rein back on their spending, because they won't know whether they can, how this is going to hit them, which will cut down the amount of money going into the exchequer. It's going to affect the financial markets, it's going to affect everybody. And the next mini budget, which I expect she'll do in March, you watch, she's got to raise money from somewhere. So fuel duty's on the cards again, I reckon, although she says she's frozen it. I don't believe a word Labour say now. If they I literally cannot believe a word that party says now. They've reneged on so many promises. All this crap over things. They still keep blaming the Tories. And the OBR, the Office of Budget Responsibility, have already said that 22 billion black hole didn't exist. She keeps going on about it. In fact, she created 9 billion of it by giving all the people, all her mates in the unions, and that a pay rise when they first got in. So yeah, this is not good. This is not good. So ignore my earlier video. Now I've sort of looked at the figures, and generally this is a really subtle thing what's happened. But the markets aren't stupid, and even Sky News and people like that are now jumping on the bandwagon, slagging off Labour. Well, if they're doing that, the only person who seems to support Labour, but he's digging his he's now getting stuck into bloody Elon Musk now, is that idiot Campbell. You know, but then again, I think he's deranged anyway. I think him and O'Brien on LBC, they're cut from the same cloth. So both of them, I think there's something wrong with them too. I think I think they just lost the plot basically. I think they got so obsessed with their lefty thing they can't see anything else. They can't see any reason in anything now. So yeah. Okay, then I better go after that depressing chat. I mean, I'm hoping that the way I live, I can sort of weather this storm until Conservatives get back in or reform. But I think something's got to be done with the centre right. At the moment, they're splitting the vote, which is letting Labour in. So I'm hoping that Cabby Badenoch gets in. I don't want that Kenrick to get in because he's just a Liberal Democrat in blue clothes. He makes out he's all right wing now. He was a soft, wet left wing Tory when he was till he turned his went for leadership. As you know, I'm a member of the Tory party. I joined because I thought there'd be a very small chance that Nigel Lafarge would have got into the party, in which case he may have run for leader, in which case I would have voted for him in a heartbeat. But you can't be in it to vote, you see. But saying that, I've done my vote. I have voted. I voted for Kemi. She was the only one I was even interested in, and since I've heard her interviews on the radio, I know I've done the right thing. So hopefully, I'm sort of split between Reform and Tory now. I think the new Tory party, if Kemi gets in, will be interesting, let's put it like that. I think Richard Tice did a stupid thing by dissing themselves from the Patriot March in London the other day. However much if you hate Tommy Robinson and people like that, at the end of the day, most of them people on their march were just normal English patriots. And they they're not rioters, they're not fascists, they're not right wing and all that crap. They're just people who are concerned about the way this country's going. So I think Richard has been a bit silly there, because I think what he's done is he's played straight in the hands of Ben Habib and people like that in UK Independence Party now. So yeah, so we'll see. It's getting even more fractious there, centre right. It's got to calm down. I'd like to see the Conservatives swallow up Reform, because I think Reform would push proper Conservative values about people's freedom to do what they want with their money, relying on the private sector by giving them low tax and what have you, so that they can earn the money to create growth in this country. So we'll see. Okay, I mean, I better sign off because see how we get on. Okay then, thanks for watching, and I'll see what I come up with the next video. Hopefully I won't be quite so soft on Labour as I was with that short about the budget. But then again, when you see the budget and all you got is a list of what she said, and you sort of read that list, it didn't look at first glance that bad, but I was being a bit selfish. I was looking as far as me, but now I've realised how these other things can impact. And the other thing, of course, which I didn't mention, was the inheritance tax. the way that's going to affect farmers, because that's now affecting farmers. Well, Jeremy Clarkson's very vocal on this one, so this will come back to bite Labour in the arse, this will, because family-owned farms that have been generational farms just moved from family, son to father to son to father to daughter or what have you. This will impact them badly. They've got no money. I mean, you got to remember, arable land has got so much. It got so expensive lately that even a small hobby farm is going to be worth 3 or 4 million. So even the small farms, they haven't looked at the problem with Labour is they don't ask the right people. They think that some university graduate sitting in their office, knows all about it. They don't. They know fuck all. They should be asking the National Union of Farmers. They should be asking farmers what would happen if they did it. Then they'd get told. Yes, there are some big landowners out there, but what you got to remember is a lot of these big landowners sublet their land to tenant farmers. So when they sell their land off because they can't afford the inheritance tax, what's going to happen to the tenant farmers? What's going to happen to the small family farms when the patriarch dies? They want to move it down to their children, and they get lumbered with a 20% bill on 4 million quid, which they haven't got, because a lot of these small farms, I mean, they're lucky if they earn, whatever. I mean, my uncle Robert was running an 800-acre farm up until about 10 years ago, and I said to him, what does this farm earn you? And he said, at 800 acres, after everything, paying the men off and everything, it clears about 140,000 quid in a good year. So 800 acres earned him 140,000 quid on a good year. Some years it didn't earn him anything, he'd break even. And the thing is, that farm is probably worth 10 million quid. So it's unbelievable what they're coming out with. Right, I've started to ramble a bit, I better clear off. And I'll speak to you another time, and I'll sign off now, and thanks for watching.